All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. This is Brother DeWild from the GMS Detroit camps. First, I want to give honors, glory, praise due to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushua, Bashem Kakadash. Double honors, apostles and elders, a great millstone, piece of Akim, doing this work on the four corners of the earth. Milwaukee had a flood, okay? And so, yeah, they had a flood and everything. And so, I'm just, basically, doing this video about, what happened in Milwaukee, and so pretty much show you this video and then we'll go ahead and get some scriptures.
The extreme heat turns to some spicy storms again this afternoon. Some of those storms were severe, and the concern tonight and for the next couple of days is the flash flooding. If that wasn't enough, as of 9:20 tonight, power is out for more than 18,000 We Energies customers. State Fair closed early tonight due to those storms and the flooding. The announcement was made around 9 o'clock. Earlier at around 4:30, the fair told people to seek shelter immediately as that initial line of storms rolled through State Fair Park. The weather also led to the cancellation of tonight's Leonard Skinner show on the main stage. The show had been delayed just a little bit, then just before 8 o'clock, that decision was made to cancel it. Now, here's a decision and actually the reason why State Fair was closed. Just take a look at this video showing some of the flooding on the grounds. You see kids playing, people trudging through several inches of standing water. The roads are also seeing plenty of that tonight. Drivers have to be on high alert. Conditions can get dangerous very quickly, and we have seen ponding throughout the area. Take a look at this video. This is right outside American Family Field, just as tonight's Brewers game was ending. Cars reportedly floating in the floodwaters at times, as you see a lot of standing water there on the stadium interchange. Let's check in now with Chief Meteorologist Tom Walks. Tom, again, this rain is far from over.
That's right, and we have a flash flood warning that is in effect for parts of Milwaukee and eastern Waukesha counties. Let's take a look. Dangerous situation, Sam, as you mentioned.
I'm going to speed this up a bit. Obviously, this is the time when it just got started. Okay. You're just showing you the weather, this, that, okay. Yeah, this is pretty much the beginning.
On that man before paramedics rushed him to the hospital. The storms up to our north packed quite a punch. This is Green Bay. Lambeau Field kind of somewhere off there in the distance, right? This was video from around 3 this afternoon, just about the time when people were thinking about tailgating for tonight's preseason game against the New York Jets. Mother Nature also storing up some huge waves on Lake Michigan today. That was a problem for the big powerboat P1 races out of Sheboygan. According to the broadcast, some of the afternoon races had to be postponed until tomorrow, hopefully when those waves subside. That decision followed an earlier incident on the water where 2 boaters were hurt. Of course, besides the storms this afternoon, the big story was also the heat and humidity. This is video from Thiensville's Village Park. The new splash pad was a huge hit.
All right, slack you for that. Let me see. Yeah, let's try this.
Every year, that's the only goal that you have is win.
Bro, this is crazy.
And then I had to jump out of the window and then swim the rest of the way through. I was very scared, very nervous. I was like, but I had to get out.
Tonight, flooded streets, collapsed roads, drivers trapped in the rising water. Historic flooding overwhelming our area overnight, pushing Milwaukee County into a state of emergency. Good evening. Thanks for looking in. I'm Bill Walsh.
And I'm Natalie Shepard. It's flooding that forecasters say only happens once every 500 years. The first domino to fall, chaos at Wisconsin State Fair Park last night. Fairgoers trudged through floodwater, many stuck in the parking lot for more than an hour. And today, organizers were forced to cancel the fair's last day.
And that chaos spilled onto the interstate. This, the scene just outside American Family Field this morning. Cars left behind until waters recede. Their owners forced to leave them behind as rescue crews pulled those drivers to safety.
The scenes just like that one playing out all across our hometowns. Rivers swelled, breaking the banks. More than 20,000 people are still without power this evening. Others in our area dealing with flooded basements and water damage.
So we've got a lot to get to. Our team tracking impacts on the roads and homes and businesses, but we have more rain in the forecast.
That's right. So let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Drew Burgoyne. Not news anyone wants to hear, Drew.
No, and thankfully this afternoon we had a lot of dry time, but a new record, an all-time record, could have been set out of this event. The 24-hour record total for the state was 11.72 inches. That was back in 1946. There was a MMSD sensor on the northwest side of Milwaukee that recorded 14.
I'm gonna get another one. Something a bit more, more better. Let's try this one.
The extreme heat turns to some spicy storms again.
That's the one I played in the beginning. Slocky.
The Tempur-Pedic breeze makes sleep feel cool. So no more sweating all night or blasting the air conditioning, because the Tempur breeze feels up to 10 degrees cooler all night long. Don't miss our biggest sale of the year with savings up to $700 on select adjustable mattress sets.
Tonight, Milwaukee County is under a state of emergency as roads like the ones you see behind me remain blocked off, and as neighbors impacted by the flooding try to salvage what's left after this weekend's historic rainfall. And officials say the threat is not over yet as this area remains under a flood warning. Tonight, the city of Milwaukee and its surrounding suburbs still trying to dry out after getting hit with more than a foot of water from a historic rainfall that caused flash flooding, taking many by surprise.
I slept in the basement, right next to the sump pump, just making sure that it was working and turning on.
Bill Suchting lives near the Menominee River, which after Saturday night's storm has spilled over onto neighborhood streets. Last night, that river got within feet of Bill's front door.
There was lots of lightning and thunder and just wanted it to be over. We were up 2-3 in the morning outside just watching it creep closer and closer, and then finally started to recede. So we were one of the fortunate ones.
Thousands of other Milwaukee County residents were not so lucky.
This is the sewer outside of my house.
The night of the storm, sewers operating in reverse, pushing out floodwaters into people's yards.
And my front yard is flooding.
The Milwaukee Fire Department saying emergency responders were inundated with 911 calls. The department responding to more than 600 calls for help from Saturday night up until Sunday morning, including dozens of water rescues. This man and his friend jumping into those floodwaters to help people trapped in cars.
They drove their cars into the water and they couldn't get out, so me and my friend literally had to swim through it and had to go open their cars, make sure they were okay, and then help them get out.
The Wisconsin State Fair forced to shut down early and remain closed for what would have been its final day Sunday. Thousands now dealing with the aftermath. Damage to their homes and cars, and basements still underwater.
We're seeing reports from some parts of the city that have received more than a foot of rain. This flooding event, it's very significant. It's something that Milwaukee hasn't seen in perhaps a decade or more.
The vehicle behind me is just one of a handful we've seen stranded, left on the roadways after floodwaters took over this past weekend. We spoke with one man who said it took him nearly 8 hours to get a tow truck to move his vehicle, which gives you an idea of the demand they're dealing with here. Milwaukee County will remain under a flood warning until Monday morning, which forecasters say is expected to bring drier conditions and hopefully reprieve for impacted residents.
Okay, so there you go. So yeah, go ahead and get to some scriptures, Alright. Book of Isaiah, chapter 28 and 2. Behold, the Lord Yahweh have a mighty and strong one, which as a tempest of hail and a destroying storm, as a flood of mighty water, mighty waters overflowing shall cast down the earth with the hand. All right. Isaiah 29 and 6. Thus shall be visited of the Lord Yahweh of hosts with thunder and with earthquakes and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire. This right here. Okay, Isaiah 30 and 30. And the Lord Yahweh shall cast his aggressive voice to the hand, and shall show the lightning down of his arm with the indigenous of his anger, and with the flaming of a devouring fire, with scattering and tempest and hailstones, you know. So yeah, hey, you know, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, they definitely end up getting it. But hey, with that, I want to give honest God's praise due to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kakadash, double honest personnel. That's a great millstone, piece of Akim that's doing this world on 4 corners of earth. Shalom.